So I'm doing an oil change in my Yamaha Raider today, 2012. This mine sits a little lower in the back, so for me the best thing to do is roll it, get an extra hand because it's hard to do it by yourself. Roll it up on the ramp in the back, put a board across the bottom with your jack under there, like a little small floor jack. I use one of these from Walmart, or you can use one of those. Jack it up in the front, get somebody to hold it while you put jack stands on each side of the front of the frame. It kind of keeps them out of the way. The bolts are just, so of course there's three. It's a dry sump engine anyway. So on the left side, you have one up here toward the front, and just a little bit farther back, you have this one. There's two on the left side. And then you come back right here on the right side. If you're looking like toward the front of the bike, on the right side over here, you see that one there. It drains basically your reservoir for your oil. So let me get that drained out. Then obviously you're in a nice easy place to get to is your oil filter. So let me get started on this, drain this oil, and then I pull the filter off. So all three of the drain bolts are 17 millimeter. On that front one, you got to use the box end. You can't get, you got to use the open end. You can't get this end on there. Now the middle one here, or the back one on the side, you can use this end on it. But then the one under the oil tank over there, you can use a socket on it because it's straight up and down. They don't give you, the engineers, do all this stuff. They don't give you enough room to put anything but a wrench on the side. They even give you torque specs in here for all of it in the owner's manual, even for the oil filter, but I don't have the one with the nut on it. It's the same as this one. It doesn't have the nut on it. So, I was gonna do it like you do a car, get it tight as you can by hand. And you can even take like your regular oil filter wrench and just go like a quarter turn with that after your hand tighten. But anyway, so it gives you the drain bolts, A, B, whatever, and then for the tank. But the only one you can get a socket on there to even get a torque wrench on is the one for the tank. So I didn't do any of them. I didn't torque any of them. I used my internal torque wrench on my hand and did the first two with the wrench, obviously, and then just tighten that one down like I do on my truck oil pan anyway. So that's it for that. Now all I got to take the filter off with a filter wrench, like a regular car filter wrench. It's a small one though. And if my small one, I got another one that you put a socket on, a 3/8 ratchet on that you can turn to loosen it. Figure out which one of them. So like this one, and it may be a little bit, hold on. Yeah, it may work. If you start high enough up here, it may work. If not, I'll show you, hold on, give me a second, I'll show you the one that goes on it. So this is the tool I ended up using to take the filter off. It's from Walmart, Hyper Tub. It just takes a 3/8 drive ratchet, and then it expands out, and then as you turn it to loosen it, it tightens down on it. And that's what I used to take the old one off because it didn't have the nut. This high flow filters don't have the nut on there, although that would be better to have to put a socket on the end. And then when you tighten it up, just tight as you can get it by hand. And it works pretty good on smaller filters. Sometimes it doesn't do as good. It does really good on car filters, but it sits at kind of an angle. It just hits the edge instead of very flat on smaller ones, but it still works. So obviously, when you're done with the filter and putting it on, you'll pull your dipstick out. You put 2.5 quarts. It takes like 5 quarts, which basically as much as a truck or car, whatever, vehicle. So you put about 2.5 quarts in it, or maybe 2, whatever, somewhere around there. Before it, just keep an eye, make sure it doesn't overflow. You put the dipstick back in, crank it up, then blip the throttle, rev it just a couple times, and then cut it back off so it circulates some of the oil through. Then you put the last half of the oil in it, and it's good to go. You know, just run it, check it, make sure it's full. So it's full now. And that is it for the oil change. The hardest part, if you're doing it by yourself, is getting it jacked up and getting it level and all by yourself without it falling over. If you got somebody to hold it while you jack it up and put stands under it and all that, the hardest part is freaking getting to a couple of the bolts in the front with the wrench. But all in all, not too bad. It'll save you a bunch of money, because if you ever called some kind of shop or dealership, unless you got a local shop that's really fair priced, if you call any kind of the Yamaha dealerships or one of the power sports places, they're going to charge you, they're going to charge you like 120 bucks just to do that. Which that oil, the Maxima V-twin oil that I used, 1030 for it, it ain't cheap. It's like 12 bucks or 10, 12, whatever bucks a quart. So that's half the 120 there. So basically the rest of it's labor, but you can do that yourself free. So anyway, I'll be changing I need to change the transfer case fluid sometime, so I'll probably do a video on that too. It's hit the mileage for that. Plus it says in the book that, this much mileage or every like 2 years or something like that. So anyway, I'll do that sometime, make a video on that if y'all are interested, but that's it for this one.